Hi, now is the time to join the little shank, 1 inch about, with the rest of the fly. But before we will join it, we must build some fin, a dorsal fin and lateral fin, pectoral fin. To do that, I will create some extension with some mono, 150 pound test about, so it's solid, it's stiff. So when I will join it to the fly, that can move and keep their place, their positions. So I will take 2 pieces of about 1/4 inch, one for the dorsal fin and another piece for the pectoral fin. So if you see, this bundle is a circle, and that's create a shape of the mono that tend to bend a little bit. I want to use it bend in direction of the rear of the fly. We'll burn one extremity to create a little bump that will retain the material on. When I want to tie it on the shank, I need to have a flat basis to stick it really solidly on the shank. To do that, I use my vise. It's a wriggle vise, so strength. I will pinch my mono, the bend in my direction. I will put it in my vise and let my vise clip it about 1/8 inch long. You see that it's a flat portion here that will allow to really tie it solidly on the shank. If you see, that makes some flat that enlarge at the extremity, so I will cut the point that will easier to attach, to tie it on the shank. And after, I can fold to give it the shape that we want to have to tie in on the shank. Okay, when this is done, I put again the mono in my vise. I use my 6/0 thread and make a basis of thread just above the extremity of the mono. Put some glue. I will use to create the fin the same deer hair that I used to make the tail of the fly here. And after I will place my pinch of deer hair. I will apply it on the thread and fix it. I will stack on the bump at the extremity. A few turns. That will do like a modeler head. After this, I will simply make a knot. Challenge of this part of the tying is that the mono is more flexible than a hook or a shank. So you must develop this ability to tie on the bases less stiff. I will put it on the side to let it dry. So we will do the pectoral fin. For this part, I will burn the two extremities because we have two fins to create, not just one. We'll make sure that the bend, when I will tie it on the fly, the bend goes to the rear, in the direction of the rear of the fly. But to fix it solidly on the shank, I need to have a flat basis as we create with the dorsal fin. So I will take my mono, put in my jaw to flatten the center of the mono. So at the middle, my middle is not perfectly the middle, so I will work it again. So I will be sure that when I will tie it on my shank, that will stay in a good direction. If you look, the bend will be in direction of the rear of the fly. Okay. We'll do the same thing. Put it in the jaw. Bases of thread. Sure that this portion of the tying is more for the look than is for the action of the fly. But the fact that will be outside of the center of the fly, that will create more traction in the water. So not a big effect, but have one. Take about the same amount of fiber, deer hair. For this part, it's important to have the same density of air on each side to have a good proportionality. Stack it on the bump. So as I said, for this fly, this kind of thing have most a look effect, but I will show you later an advantage to make some effect on some fly. When you want to have a fly with different stripe of color on on the fly, this trick will help. You will see later. I realized that I forgot to cut the excess of hair at the base on the dorsal fin. Okay. So okay, let it dry. Okay, this is my dorsal fin. So fin is flat, so I want to create this shape for the fin that I will tie on the shank. So the direction will be that. To create the shape that I want for the fin, I will pinch the air in my finger. I will use Solares thin at the bases. About 1/8 inch, and be sure that the glue go through the hair. We'll do that on the both sides. And that will maintain the air flat and open to keep the fin shape like that. I do that for the back, and I will do the same thing for the lateral pectoral fin. Okay. When I will tie it on the shank, I will bend this to let it go down like a pectoral fin on the fish. Okay. So before fix it on the shank, I will show you another use of this technique to tie fly. This is a perch model that I've tied a month ago, and when I tied it, I want to create a fly that have a dark back, a lighter middle part, and a white belly. To have these three stripes of color for the back, I made an extension that have on it at the end a black wool to make a dark back, 2 hackle green on each side, and lower on the mono a pinch of bright green to respect the coloration that I want to do on the fly. In the front part here, so on the little shank, as we make presentment, I have my fin. At the bases, a dark pinch of wool, and lower bright green to respect the segmentation of the coloration of the fly. So depend what the look you want that the fly have. For me, I know that muskie regularly attack on the side and from the bottom. So the look that he have of the fly is often the belly or a part of the belly. So I like to have on my fly a white belly. Some species that you want to imitate. Example, rainbow trout. So you want to have a segmentation in the coloration, lateral coloration, the back olive, the lateral scale pink, and white belly. So if you want to do this effect, this type of tying is a good way to do that. Okay, so my little shank, about 1 inch. Remember that I like to use elastic to fix the fly on the vise to let me some space to work. Okay. Many fish are the dorsal fin relatively at the middle of the length of the fish. Some species have it more near to the head, and other, like pike, muskie, have the dorsal fin at the rear of the fish. So, me, to represent the sucker that I want, I place it on my little shank here. But I can do this on the middle hook, and if I want to imitate a pike, I can place it on the rear hook. That's your choice. Okay, so this shank can be receive a lot of tension because that retain the young fly, so I use the big fly thread. We'll close the shank. Okay, so glue, secure the shank. I will place first if you want to keep it on the back, it's important to make several turns with a good tension. Be careful to don't cut your thread on the extremity of the shank. With the glue, that will be okay. In front of this, we'll place pectoral fin, and I will fix it as you do when you fix a dumbbell high on the clouser. I will pass the thread under the mono over the shank to really tight it in place. And you have solid tie. All you must to do for the rest is cover with secret stuff, the same stuff that we already used for the body, along the fly. But before I will, very important to apply another drop of glue. It's really important, that is really sticky and glue to get in place. Because when you will strip your fly, this portion will make some traction in the water, so that will apply some tension. Important that is solidly fixed. So you must manage fin when you will turn it. The advantage is that the secret stuff will stick in the glue. That will raise the solidity of the fly. Okay. Normally I want to have an angle that go through the back of the fly. You can use different technique to get this. You can take a plier and give a shape to the mono, but many times that tends to go at the first place. So what I do several times is to put this back, apply a drop of UV glue, and to maintain in place sometimes that need a good drop, but it's not a problem if it's not really aesthetics, because this part will be covered with some material from the head that we will build at the next step. So you can see that we have the right angle. And it's done for this part of the fly. The only part that we need to do to close the work is the head. It will be a good work to do. It's not complicated, but we must respect some principle. This. So the next time we will do last part, the head. Have a good day. Next time.